Michigan game recap. Defensively had 17 big plays we gave up, half their third downs, 4 third down quarterback scrambles. Some good things. We had 2 inside the 10-yard stops, holding them to field goals, which kept us in the game. A red zone turnover kept us in the game, so we had that's potentially 21 points. We hold them to 6, which kept us in the game. Third quarter shutout. Our run defense was good against the base run, except for the quarterback scrambles. 7 tackles for loss and some quarterback hits. Offensively, some good stats from a statistical standpoint, except points. As far as points per play, points per yards, that's got to pick up. Because for the first downs and yardage you're not getting the points that parallel that. They were very good defense, very impressed with Michigan going that game about how hard they played, and thought our kids played very, very hard. Thought they matched that effort, which was good to see. It still wasn't enough. Had no turnovers. Some good yards after contact in the run game. Our pro was decent. We had no 3 and outs, which was very good, and played pretty physical. We had the ball end of the deal 4 times inside the 10-yard line, where we get 3 field goals in the end of the game. Was really the difference from their perspective. 6 offensive penalties, third down conversions were fair. Needs to be better, just didn't finish. Players of the game on O&D, we had good grades and performances. 2 on defense, Oliver and Shaw. Player of the game was Marcus Oliver. Austin Doris, our freshman tight end from Ohio, was Scout Team Player of the Week. Offensively, several winning grades up front. The offensive line, all 5 guys did well. Again, Michael Cooper's playing well at tight end. The 2 running backs, Howard and Redding, Nate and Ricky Jones. There were several guys offensively that graded well, winning performances. Players of the game with the 5 linemen and Jordan. And our scouts were Raekwon Jones and Gabe Estes. Gabe's a linebacker freshman out of New Pal. Special team kickoff had a couple returns. Wasn't as good as it's been. That last kick came out to about the 35 on their score. Our kick placement was well. Punt return, Donovan Hill and Damon Graham did a great job. We had the return for the touchdown by Mitchell, which is huge. Not much out of punt. We had a great sky opportunity, and our coverage wasn't allowed. I thought the kick was good by Toast. We're punting good because Fisher hadn't asked a punt question, I don't think, the whole year. Toast averaging 41.5 or 8. So he's matured and done well. Griffin Oaks this week made a 51, 52-yard or whatever, and was named the Big Ten Special Team Player of the Week. I think he had 15 points. I think it's second most in the conference, but that's also a product of red zone field goals versus red zone touchdowns. So we need some touchdowns in games like that. We did recognize Mitchell and Griffin Oaks, special team players of the game. Maryland coming in, kind of like us. Now they've played, I want to say, in their last, they played West Virginia and Penn State that aren't ranked, and then they've played right now, if you look at the playoff poll's not out yet, but on the AP poll they've played, 2, 6, 9, 14, and 21 rated teams. So 3 top 10s. They've played, basically the teams we've played, Ohio State, Michigan State, Iowa. They've played Wisconsin on top of that. And then their Penn State game was 31-30, which to me shows a lot because I think Penn State's defense is very solid and very good. We for sure struggled. They had 466 yards on Penn State. So their record is kind of struggled like us, with losing here several in a row, but they played some outstanding teams. In their last 3 games, they've given up, last 4 games, they've given up 48, 110, 117, and 141 rushing. That's 104 yards a game. It's pretty good defense. In the last 3 games, passing, it's 183, 188, 121. And that's against Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan State. Those are 3 ranked teams. That's 123 yards a game. So they're giving up 287 here their last 3 games. They're playing really good football defensively. Got a great returner, Will Likely. He's got 2 punt returns, a kickoff return for touchdown. The kicker was excellent, although he's got, a fractured wrist or something, so I don't know if he's playing. But Likely's been dynamic. He's a great defensive back, one of the premier guys in the conference, great returner. And they're using him a lot like Michigan used Peppers. He's playing like a hybrid offensive position or throwing him the ball, so he's a tremendous player as well. Offensively, they had 466 on Penn State. Run the ball in a no-huddle spread like we do. They're leading rusher as their quarterback. And quite honestly, they've played some really good football, except I think some turnovers have kind of haunted them in some of these close games. I think they're, much like us, they're a very talented defensive team, very talented team. Has played some good guys and just hadn't been able to get over the hump. So expect a strong challenge. I think our kids have came back. We had good preparation today, trying to get a jump on those guys. Like the routine from last week, I thought our kids embraced that. We had as much energy and effort for 4 quarters and overtime. And we'll try to build on that because, again, taking the road, we got to go get a road win and get one this week. The only stat, like we said after the game, there's some good stats and bad stats, but ultimately you got to put it together, get a W, and it'd be really great to go get one on the road this week. Well, you want to kick to them in one phase a lot and in the other phase not at all. So I hope they won't have a lot of punt opportunities. We try to directionally kick, and we'll figure that out. Kick off, like last game, I think the whole first half and early, Griffin kicked them all out of the end zone. And then actually his last 2 had great hang time, over 4 point and down there, and our coverage wasn't as good. So, you have built-in things this time of year where you can not kick to them, but at the end too, we just need to be smart about it, make the plays. And I know the coaches are involved with punt and kickoff. Will have their game plan. We started that. It's actually what worked on a little bit today, and we'll talk about it and address it. But he's a dangerous player, and bottom line too, I think because he's so good, they're good at the team. Or I think their team feels like, hey, we can score on this play, so they get good effort from their punt return team and their kickoff return team. So we'll need to match that, and we'll make the adjustments if we need it. He's a very good one, though.
In that vein, I guess, he's different. He's top 10 in both touchback nationally and touchback and also on touchback percentage. Break that out. I mean, everybody looks at the field goals. I think he's the top of the top.
He's first. He's number 1. He's got a chance to be Big Ten Kicker of the Year.
How important is he in, I guess, not allowing kickoff return?
Yeah, but you got to win this time of year, elements, although we'll see what the weather looks like. Sometimes, too, I think it's like the home run derby. Like the other day we kicked off, fortunate enough to kick off enough. Sometimes I think if you notice the kicks, they finally got short word at the end. So sometimes there's a little bit even of stamina there. Those guys that's never take those are big swings. And so there's a strength factor there. So that's where your strategy in kicking, you could be too smart and outsmart yourself. But, again, there's different types of kicks between putting it on the ground and bloop kicks and high kicks. Coach Inge would tell you he'd prefer him to kick it really, really high and really great hang time and try to pin him inside the 25 because he'd like to start on the 18 if you could cover it good. But we're not trying to be cute on that play. We tell him to kick it out when he can. And what's he got, about 70% or something like that, I think? So, yeah. So, he's good. There's going to be some elements sometime that get you. There's, sometimes, too, he's a kid. Sometimes he gets a little geeked up, and just, he's like fired up and he's excited. We did one, he'll hook one or just, it's like a golfer, you just mishit it. You hit it, you just hit it a little thin, hit a little fat. It's a swinging action, so. But he's a very good kicker. It's hard to say. Offensively, Coach Loxley was the offensive coordinator, so it looks comparable. Defensively, there's some subtle changes, but is that from the opponent and how they're getting attacked, or is that it's still the same defensive coordinator? And I know Coach Etzel's background was probably defense, so maybe he was saying, hey, I'd like to see this, or I want you to do this, and where Mike might be saying, hey, I got the offense, you got the defense. So maybe some things are emphasized more or less, because I know Randy's background was defense. They've played very, very well, though, since that changed defensively, statistically well enough to win, and we played some good defenses. They're playing as good as the other guys that we've been playing that we've been saying is good, so it's going to be a challenge. It's really a challenge blocking them. One kid's got 12.5 sacks, the other kid's got 6. Pressure the quarterback, play very fast. There's some man coverages in zone, a lot of blitz. They pick their spots. But they're very aggressive and assertive, and they play very confident defensively. For me personally, I see consistently how hard they prepare, practice, and play that it's encouraging because I don't feel like I'm fighting them to do the process right now, whether it be an execution of a play or other play calls. And, when things don't work, you second guess a decision you made or the execution of a player or whatever. But the way they go about their business, it's hard to come in and not be in a good mood working with these guys. We don't think it's, we've gotten past we don't think it's bad luck or karma. We just think we got to keep playing and get better because it's not as good as we want. And we see you doing better. We recognize what we think is a lot of good football. It just, we're not able to put enough good together against some really good teams to get the outcome you desire, the victory. So the process of preparing and the way they play. And so again, do we fatigue? Is it play calling? Is it the bounce of the ball? Whatever. But the way they go about their business. So again, we came in yesterday and these are things we liked. These are things that we need to correct. And if we talked about we thought we could be a good team. Well, good teams keep getting better. And we're going to coach it like a good team. We're not going to over practice, but we're going to be very direct. This needs to get corrected, whether it be schematically and doing other things, or you need to try to execute better. And we're going to practice that and work on that. So to me, I've got great leaders, Jerry, Sudfeld, Shaw, A.J. Rayner. It's hard sometimes to pick the guys you want to go out for that coin toss. It's a good group of dudes, guys that just, the energy they bring into the building, just sitting in meetings and you look at them, they got a great look in their eye and there's good body language, and it's kids you want to work with. So my deal is we're going to keep working. Still, if we're doing it right, this will be our best week we've had yet. I think we've gotten better the last couple of weeks, and that was our deal. We want really good teams get better. We don't have the outcome we want. We don't. There's nothing as. There's victory and only victory, but we see progress, and we got to keep pushing to get victory because ultimately that's what you need and want is victory. So that being said, it's kind of easy, and I think because we're coaching them that way, I think the kids, to some degree, have some confidence in themselves, and like we expected last week to play well and to have a good game, and it just wasn't good enough. Yeah. It's a little bit, and sometimes, as head coach, it falls on you. And, we structure our staff. A lot of places, there's 5 offensive coaches, and then there's 4 on defense. And me being an offensive-oriented guy, I would spend more time there. So we put 5 over there. But that being said, sometimes, I just feel because they're not doing well, my presence needs to be with those guys, just with passion, energy. Because to me, I take it personal the way we play. Even though my background says offense, I'm the head coach, and we give up a bunch of points. We give up too many plays. We have some issues, whether it be injury or youth or whatever. But my whole thing is there's an energy and passion and attitude to run the ball. There's energy and attitude and passion to play good team and team defense. And that's all I've been trying to embrace these last 3 or 4 weeks with our guys. Now, we're getting a little thin and a little beat up and a little youthful on the backside and give up some cheap plays. But again, the kids up front keep battling. I thought they had a hard time last week blocking our front. We still got to find ways to get pressure on the quarterback. It's like when we blitz, we don't get home and we leave voids in coverage, or we get beat man to man. And then if we 4-man rush, do we get there? The other day though, the quarterback has 3 scrambles. Well, that means they're covered. So how can, like I told the defense yesterday, how can you say you're not covering when there's 3 critical third downs on 3rd and 10 and 11, where now you guys maintain integrity of your rush lanes and keep the quarterback hemmed in the pocket as you rush. So I think there's a little bit of pressing by the kids and coaches. I've tried to work hard to keep it simple, but ultimately, I just believe there's an attitude that I think the games play with, that we need to play with, and we're still fighting to get there on defense, and that's my job. And I'm working hard to see if I can, in my way, even though I'm offensive oriented, to get the attitude to play better defense. And we're going to need it. We need to play, and just to be a better team. Because we don't have a divided team. I promise you this, we do not have a divided team. I think we have one side has a little bit more confidence than the other, one side is a little bit more experienced. But there's not like a O versus D thing in that locker room. It's a team deal. And those offensive guys will tell you, they need to score more points, and those inside the 10-yard field goals was the reason. And those defensive guys say, we got to get some 3rd down stops. And the kicking guys will say, hey, I got to make a play in a kick game. So, it's still a team down there. Well, again, we've played a lot of freshmen every year. We played 60, and they're not freshmen now. And if they're worn down, they're worn down. That's why, again, in practice, we try to be smart in what we're doing. There's a psychological side of that. There's also a rest side of that. We talked a lot last week as we changed up that it would be great to get great rest on Wednesday and Thursday night to sleep well, just from a recovery standpoint. So, we put a lot of education in front of those guys with diet, nutrition, rest, practice, lifting, the way we're doing things, and they need to take care of their bodies. But there's a lot of other teams playing freshman guys, and Michigan State's playing several freshmen in the secondary. I mean, so, other guys are playing. I mean, Ohio State plays as many freshmen as most people. I mean, the best players play. And whether they're worn down, a lot of people are worn down. But when you're playing Big Ten football, I thought it was very, very encouraging last week against a physical football team. That we played a very, very physical game last week. So I don't know how worn down we are. Maybe I did not make some plays in the perimeter. But we played a physical team, and we physically played decent football. I mean, we're not winning, so I guess we're not developing the way we need to. They need to develop more. Practice without over-practicing, because we don't want to hit the wall. So there's, double-edged sword. But those kids put a phenomenal amount of time of study, prep. You talk about being confident with a quarterback. You got to be confident with DB now. You're out there on the island now. Can't play on eggshells. You're going to get beat. That 3 technique goes the wrong way a lot, and you guys don't see that one, do you? And that right guard combos to the wrong backer. Nobody sees that one. But when you're out there DB, a little different world. When you're that quarterback, when you're that kicker. I mean, our kicker, everybody thought was a GOAT a few weeks ago. He's the best in the Big Ten. Because, some guys stick out. It comes with the territory. So that's where the youthfulness, I don't know if it's the wall as much as the youthfulness of I'm out here on the island and here I am. And having the maturity to consistently answer that call. It's tough. It's called growing up. It doesn't mean you don't have fun. You do. It's just being able to handle it. So. A little bit, because again, it gets exposed. I think much as anything, though, you look at it like Andre Brown didn't dress last game. He's out. Devontae Williams hasn't played since he got a knee injury. Those 2 guys started early. Jamil Cook has played a lot. That was your 5th guy. So you got 3 of your initial starters where you started didn't dress last game. And that's created more young guys who, now to them, for Tyler Green, that's game 2 or 3. So even though it's week 7, 8 with experience time, he actually started some of your own scout team. So, every team's got some hiccups. We just are young, and it is what it is. But when the game's on the line, the pass rush we had at the end of the first half and the pass rush right down here on 3rd and 3 and 4 on 2 downs was the difference. So, the key to a great secondary sometimes is a really good front. And when our front lines up and gets after it, they create some problems. And like I said, we're getting down to a stop or 2. And it'd be nice that, again, some of those guys can I thought Zach Shaw's effort was awesome. I thought Darius Latham played as hard as he played in a long time. It was good to see. Mac Mangieri's always good. The more of those guys like that keep playing, I think will help those young guys. Yeah, he's got like a numbness thing or whatever where, he didn't have a surgical deal needed, but he kind of got like a nerve kind of damage thing with the bruise deal. And it's he can't go on it long enough. It's like he could go, but it's short term. And so it was so little, and he got hurt, so we'll probably be able to apply and get his medical. And here's a guy that started and played a couple, 3 games, but I think we'll be able to get him back, hopefully as a freshman. So unless something bad happens, it'd be nice not to play him down the stretch these last couple. We'll see. Although we're getting thin there, we'll see. Andre Brown dressed back today, so we're getting there. We'll see what we have of guys out. Well, I'd like to be that way all the time, but aggressive with soundness. But, recently we did get one the other day, but we haven't had as many. And that's a sign of inexperience. It's a sign of injuries. It's a sign of, quote, getting worn down. We just, that's always a key factor. It'd be great for us to take care of the ball. We played the other day with no turnovers and no 3 and outs. So you'd like to think your defense is not put in bad situations, that they'll play well for you. Well, you're playing a team that's turned it over. That doesn't mean we're going to get it. I mean, I know they're working hard not to turn it over. So on the road, kicking, we're talking about return guy, turnovers, big plays. Those are all factors that help and hurt. So, we're not going this game saying we're going to, we go in every game wanting turnovers, and we started very well in the year with many, and down the stretch and big. Now you play better teams. Good teams typically don't turn it over. They're better with the ball. We'll see. Again, we need to be very good with the ball on our end, throwing it and protecting it. And then, like I said, it'd be nice to get some, but to say we're trying to get them, and that's the only thing. No, we need to quit giving up the big play. We need to stop the run and not give up the big pass play, and then it would be great to get some if we're fortunate enough to do so. Well, Jacob's kind of every year, he's a fourth-year guy. Limited with skill set as far as athleticism per se for a big guy. Strong, but not overly strong. Big and not massively big. But he's very, very smart. That's his greatest attribute. He's a Kelly business dude. Very smart as a football player. Very aware. And he's kind of like that would be like a fungus or a virus. It kind of wears on you. He just kind of, the more he's around, you just kind of count. We start, Wes Martin early, who's got a lot more talent, but kind of inconsistent. And Jacob's maybe not as good, but you can just count on him. And you got him every day, and he kind of just wears on you. So, he cares a lot. Comes from a phenomenal program, Cathedral, great family. And he's got a couple of those talents you can't put a stopwatch on that make guys pretty good players. I mean, he cares a lot, and it's very important to him. He's got a lot of pride. He just fights and scratches, and he's done well. That's a tribute to him. Jamil will be out. He had to have foot surgery. He had one of those Liz Frank deals or whatever. Andre's back dressing. We'll see how that goes. Anything else, guys? You good? Awesome. Appreciate you coming.